Hear me now? All right, so as I was saying, here's the host code for the month of December. You guys, if you choose to you see anything that you like tonight, especially if it's stuff that I'm using that's in the current catalog, this is a host code that you can use. This code expires at the end of this month. There will be a new code that is posted at the 1st of January. Here's my email if you do need to contact me, but you can contact me through email, WhatsApp, Messenger. Just leave me a comment on my Facebook, whatever you want. You can contact me anywhere. And if this is anything products that you see tonight that you would like to have, go ahead and here's my link to my online store. Would totally love to have you as my customer. Perfect. Like I said, I wanted to share with you. I've been sharing on my Facebook page and in my blogs, etc. This guy right here, this is the Stampin' Cut machine, the mini, right? And I have the other one in the white, but this is if you join during the month of celebration, there are 3 options that you can have. And one of the options includes getting this color Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And this guy, this is a preview of a color that's coming out in the annual catalog, and this is called Boho Blue. So this is an in color that's coming up in the 2023 annual catalog, and it's called Boho Blue. Get the white, or you can choose to get the boho. And lots of designer series paper, pattern paper for those of you not in the Stampin' Up! World. And I love it so much and I buy it so much, but I find that I don't get to use them, okay? So thanks to my upline, Miss Connie Stewart, she had this awesome quick design for using some designer series paper. And I'm gonna share with you this card and some other cards that you can make with 12 by 12, 6 by 6, 4 by 6, 4 by 5, 4 by 5. But it's all about how you cut your paper, okay? And cutting your paper to get the most out of it is always an important thing. So this is one design. This is the front and back. And this paper is this is one of the free items in the celebration catalog. I think it's called Dainty Flowers, I believe it's called. And so this is the front and this is the back. And so you see, you can just make a quick set of cards, and you're not even using, you're using 1/12. No, 2/12. Is that right? Yeah, you're using 2/12 of one sheet of DSP to create these 2 cards. Go figure. All right, so let's get started. So you can see, let me check in really quickly on Zoom to see if anybody's joined me over there or anybody's waiting. Nope, nobody's waiting to come in. So at this point, you guys, if you're waiting to come in on Zoom, I'm really going to be focusing mainly on the YouTube. So if you're going to comment to me, please comment through that. Otherwise, I may or may not see you trying to come into the Zoom. All right, so I am going to focus you guys today. This is one of the freebies from the new celebration catalog. And again, the celebration catalog is going to go live on the 4th of January. And this is from the Favored Flowers Designs, okay? Designer series. It's 12 by 12. Let me show you all of the card that the prints that's in here. So this is the first. This is the reverse side. And you know, with mostly with Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper, there's always a front, one side that's always a little bit busier. And then you have the second side that's a little bit more muted, okay? So this is one side, one sheet. Here is the next, this is the front. This is the front, and here's the back. And again, what I love about Stampin' Up! DSP is that it color coordinates, okay? The front and the back generally coordinates with each other. Okay. I showed you that one already. So then the colors of DSP, now there are other colors that you can use, but in Stampin' Up recommends or indicates to you that the colored cardstock that will coordinate with this are, I didn't put my label on this one yet, but this you can use Basic Black, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Mossy Meadow, and Petal Pink. Those are coordinating colors with all of the papers and prints in this pack, okay? So grab your paper trimmers, you guys, and we're gonna start with a piece of 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, okay? Grab my trimmer. All right, and the beautiful thing about my Stampin' Up! Trimmer is I love when I'm gonna cut things 6 by 6. Why? Because this just butts right up against the little stop right here, and you know that you are already on the 6, and you will have a perfect cut here. I also love that you have a cutting blade and you have a scoring blade. You have a scoring blade, okay? The other thing that I love about Stampin' Up! For me is that you have your measurements down the side. So if you needed to line things up, you could. I just put taped a piece of white cardstock so that my horrible eyes, that I'm able to see the colors of the numbers a little bit more. So the first thing we're gonna do, you guys, is we're gonna cut this paper in half, 6 inches. And we're gonna put one piece aside. We're gonna come back and work on that. So the next thing we're going to do is one piece of 6 by 6. We're going to cut 2 inches. And then we're going to go 2 inches by 4 3/4. And if you can't see what I'm doing, you guys, is their measurements are up at the top. All of the big tick lines, as you can see, and let me see if I can move this a little bit closer. All of the big tick lines that you see on here, these correspond to 1/4 inch marks, okay? And then you have in between, these are 16th, the smallest lines are 16ths, and then you have 8ths. So you can trim down to the 1/16 or the 16th of an inch based upon the measurements here on the trimmer, okay? But for now, we want to trim one piece that's 2 inches. We already cut 2 inches, and we need this to be by 4 3/4. And we need another piece that is 2 inches by 3 3/4. Okay. Now the beauty about this print that I'm using right here is that it's non-directional, so I'm not really concerned about how I'm trimming it. But if you do have a print that is directional, you need to pay very close attention to how you're going to be trimming that piece. So these are 2 that we need. And then we're going to put those aside. And then I decided, you guys, I'm going way back into my stash, okay? I told you what Stampin' Up! Based on the current colors. I went into my stash because I have a lot of old colors. And this is, oh gosh, Pale Plum. Can you tell how old that is? And this is Perfect Plum. And I thought that they were also gorgeous with this DSP. So I think I'm going to mat in the Perfect Plum, and we'll see what we're going to do next. So we cut 2 inches. So we know we're going to measure everything 1/4 of an inch bigger. We're going to mat by 1/4 of an inch. So we need this to be, one piece to be 2 1/4 by 5, because remember this is 2 by 4 3/4. So to mat this, it needs to be 2 1/4 by 5, and this was 2 by 3 3/4. So the mat to this needs to be 2 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let's just go ahead and cut those out. I'm going to line this up on the 2 1/4 line. And just as a tip for you, when I'm lining up my trimmer, I make sure that I am covering the line. That's how I measure to my 2 inches. Oh crap. This was supposed to be 2 1/4. That's what happens when you're talking too much. Okay, we'll just save that for something else. So this needs to be 2 1/4. And then we need to cut to 2 1/4 by 5, because the designer series paper is 4 3/4. So 1/4 inch up would be 5. And then by 4, because the other piece was 2 3/4. I mean, 2 1/4, 2 inches by 3 3/4. So this needs to be 2 1/4 by 4. All right. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to bring our pieces back in, and we're just going to layer this. Going to layer, trying to make sure that we have an even border all the way around. Okay. So we've matted that, and I am using my liquid glue. Again, I need a little bit more time, so I make sure that I have the time that I need in order to align things properly. So we'll set that aside. And then we'll do the other. Okay. Try to line everything up, make sure we have even borders, top, bottom, left, and right. And then we press everything in place. So here we have this. And then if you see from our sample, what we're going to end up doing is this. But so now I need to trim. I'm going to make this our card base. On this one, we're going to make this our card base. So let's bring our trimmer out. I'm going to score. I try to make sure that I'm efficient when I do things. So half of 8 1/2 is 4 1/4. So I'm going to line my paper up edge to edge on the 4 1/4 line, and I'm going to score on the 4 1/4 line. And then I'm going to turn it around, and half of 11 is 5 1/2. So I'm going to line this up on the 5 1/2 line, and then I'm trimming. That's a tip, right? So the thing about this is that you will have, if you've lined everything correct, you will have 2 card bases cut, and they will be the same, okay? All right. So I'm gonna score, and I've already scored it, so I'm just gonna preset, furnace my fold. And then I'm going to set one aside. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a piece of basic white in this instance. And this should be 4 by 5 1/4. 4, let's make sure that it is. 4 by 5 1/4. This one is not trimmed to 5 1/4. So there we have 5 1/4. Now, the other tip that I'm going to share with you is to kind of preserve some of your cardstock. I'm a cheapskate. Well, cheapskate is not necessarily the word, but maybe efficient is what I'm, maybe efficient is what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to use, again, remember I told you guys I needed to start on some birthday and thank you cards. So I grabbed a couple of sentiment sets that I'm going to try to decide where I'm going to pull my sentiments from. This is something fancy. And this is from the mini catalog, the new mini catalog coming out. Kind and Sincere, again, from the new catalog. I don't think I'll be using that one. Sending Support. This is from the Celebration set. Dainty Delight, also from the new catalog. Okay, I'm going to try this. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Maybe not. I don't want to do that. Let's see. What else are we going to use? Okay. So I'm going to Framed Florets. Now, Framed Florets, you had the opportunity to pre-purchase in November. This will be in the new catalog. And I am going to go with Thank You With All My Heart, because I do need some thank yous and I do need some birthdays. So let's go with Thank You With All My Heart. Now, the trick I'm going to share with you is maybe not so much of a trick, but waste not, want not. We're going to just add, and then we're going to stamp our sentiment right on this cardstock, the one that we're going to use. And I'm not going to heat emboss, you guys, not tonight, maybe, maybe. And I'm going to stamp, I'm going to punch this guy right out. Okay. And I'm going to use Label Me Lovely, if it'll fit. If not, we'll move on to the next. Right? Nope, won't fit there. I don't think this one's going to fit either. This is too big. Oh, maybe not. I stamped it a little bit too close to the edge. So, but here's what we can do because it did fit. We know that we can go right ahead and punch this guy right out. Because it fit. I'm going to go with that one. There's two sides to every piece of paper. Then we're going to put our, how did I get that? Okay. Yeah, I'm just making a mess today, but that's okay. It's all about paper. 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to stamp my sentiment right where I need it to be. right there. I'm gonna try the label me lovely again and see if I lined it up right this time. I did not. What is going on? Okay. Just gonna do it on the other side. I used a different sentiment earlier today, so that's kind of why I used the birthday. Here we go. Perfect fit, actually. This one. Okay. So we can set this aside, let this dry for a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my pieces in. And I'm just going to line them up like so and like so. And nobody's ever going to be the wiser that there's a big old hole in the back there. So that's how we create and save some space. Okay, so there's this. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is add a little bit of adhesive. Like so. Oops, like so. No. And put this down. And then making sure we kind of leave a little bit of the same size border on the other side. But what I'm trying to do is also make sure that where I'm going to add liquid glue doesn't overrun where those holes are. So that's the one thing you do need to be cognizant of, is where you punched. I like a little bit of petal pink there. Yep. All right. We got that. And then this piece that we kind of made a mess of, when I say a mess, we kind of over punched it or undercut it. We are, oh, not gonna work. Not gonna work. So we are just gonna punch inside of this. Now, normally I would cut this in half. I thought about just offsetting it a little bit as an option. I think I'm just going to do that. I think I am just going to offset it just a bit. What do you think? Nah, I think I'm going to cut it in half. And so when I cut it in half, I'm just going to frame it and create. It's another tip for you. If you are using a punch and you don't have a coordinating or a nesting one, just punch the same one you have, cut it in half, either lengthwise or otherwise, depending on what it is you're doing, how you want to frame it, and then you can mat. Okay, I'm only going to mat one way. Otherwise, I would cut two pieces and layer both pieces. So I would cut one the way I cut it and then cut the other way so that I'd have a mat this way. but I'm only going to mat in one direction. Okay. Okay. And there we have created a mat. Now, grab some ribbon. Let's see, what ribbon am I going to use? I'm going to use a little bit of this metallic Orchid Oasis to create my bow. And you guys, this is a very simple card. I'm not adding too much. I'm not adding a whole lot. I'm just keeping it very, very simple. I'm going to trim this edge off. Okay, I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. And then just adhere my ribbon like so. Okay, then I'm just going to go in with some dimensional. This is from the foam adhesive sheets. And then I'm going to stick this down like so. Then add our sentiment. To our front panel. Like so. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is just to add our card to our card base. And again, I'm not layering. I'm not doing much layering, but to step this card up, I would do so many more different things. One, I would heat emboss my sentiment. Two, I would add dimensional on the back of this. I would add the foam sheets so that this could also be popped up to have a little bit more dimension on my card. I would also, from the dainty or the framed florets, I would add a floral image that I would color on the back. I would add that. So there's other ways and other things that you can do to go from a now card to a wow card. Or a basic card like this. This may not be, well, I guess this is a basic card, don't you think? And then what we do is we just add 1, 2, and 3. Okay, guys, if you cut your paper correctly, you can get 6 sheets of designer series paper, 6 cards out of, there's 12. So if you cut it 12, you get 12, you get 6 2-inch strips. So that means you can make 6 cards, okay, out of 1 sheet of 12 by 12. Okay, now to add some more interest to your card base or to your card, do the same thing here. Cut this into 2, but then you use the reverse side and this side. So you have a coordinated stack of cards to give as a little gift. All right, so we're going to go back with this piece that we cut to 6 by 6. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get 4 cards, how I can get 4 cards out of 1 piece of 6 by 6 designer series paper. So with this 6 by 12, you should be able to get 8 cards out of this, but I'm only going to show you 4 because you just repeat the same thing. So we already have it cut to 6, so we're going to cut this 6 by 6. Put 1 aside. Now, we're going to cut this in half. So now we have 2 pieces, that's 3 by 6. And then we're going to cut that in half as well. So we have 2 sheets of cards, two pieces, or 4 pieces we have now that are 3 by 3. So one of them we're going to leave as it is. One of them we are going to make sure we do tip to tip in the track and cut it on a diagonal. Keep these aside. One of them it's 3 by 3, so one of them we are going to cut into 1-inch strips. 1. And then 2. And then the last one we are going to cut into, we're going to cut into 4 squares. So each square needs to be 1 1/2. Right? 1 1/2 and 1 1/2 is 3. So we're going to line this up, 1 1/2. And then again at 1 1/2. For us to have 4 equal pieces. Okay. Now again, make sure you kind of have them, especially if they're directional, make sure you line them up the way they need to be. Now let's go in with some coordinating paper. And I'm going to use this. And we're going to need some cardstock, and we have some more, but we'll cut this. So our mat layers is 3 by 3, so we're going to cut mat 3 3 1/4. So we need a 3 1/4 square. That's 1. We need 4 of them. That's 2. even use this one, y'all. So let's do this at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. We need one more piece. 3 by 3 1/4. 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Correction. So one of them we're going to leave as is. One of them we're going to cut on the diagonal, which means we're going to line tip to tip in the tray, in the track. And we're going to have our mats. One of them we're going to cut into one, and oh my gosh, what's the mat for? This is 1 inch. I think it's 1 1/8. One 1/4 and 1 1/4. Oh, I think it's 1 1/4. I messed up my cut somehow, y'all. But we're gonna make it work. We are gonna make it work. Okay, got those 3. And now I should have cut the other one. Oh wait, no. How about we do this? Switch this one and this one, duh, and this one and that one. So 3 1/4. Oh boy. This should be 1 7/8, I believe. Oh, it's 1 5/8. 1 5/8. And 1 5/8. All right, so this part is done, you guys. We probably we'll need this for our card bases. But other than that, we are pretty much done with this. So let's do what we need to do. Let's get our pieces mounted. This is just a very quick way to use up a lot of your designer paper, you guys. All right, let me do a quick check-in, make sure to see if anybody has joined us live. Anybody's waiting? Nope, nobody's waiting. So we'll go ahead and we will just continue. So this is the first one. Then we're going to go ahead and mat all of our other pieces onto their coordinating mat layer. And once we get to looking at this, you guys, it's simple. I mean, it's pretty much artist's interpretation. You can do whatever you'd like. And before I like glue anything into position, I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can layer them to make just different looking cards out of those same pieces that we just cut. And sometimes you just got to make sure that, again, if you have, like when I cut these flowers, they had a particular order. When I'm layering them and I'm going to put them back in some semblance order, I need to make sure that the picture continues, if that makes any sense. So you see, there you go. Literally, you deconstructed it and we're going to put it back. We're going to end up putting it back. Okay, so here we go. Almost done with our layering. I think my cuts were off, you guys. Something just does not seem right here to me. I'm going to end up trimming these because I don't really like it. I'm going to make sure that I post on my blog the correct measurements. That way you will know and have your perfect mat. Not have to trim and adjust like I'm going to have to, because this somehow or the other just did not trim properly. But it's okay. We are going to make everything work tonight. That is the beauty of something did not. Ooh, Lordy, 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 look at how I messed up. It's okay. It is okay. Have paper trimmer, will travel. All right. So if you did something like I did and you got all of your measurements messed up somehow, as long as you have a trimmer, you can fix your mistakes. Now, for this, I prefer to use the mini trimmer. If you have a mini trimmer, it's probably the best thing to use. If you don't, just kind of line it up in your trimmer and kind of give yourself the kind of border or matte layer that you kind of want. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. Line it up and give it the matte layer that I want it to have. Somehow it didn't cut to 1 5/8. Because that's what it's lining up to be, is 1 5/8. Okay, let's do the same here. All I'm going to do and that's how you fix it. I'm one of those crafters that I do make a lot of mistakes, you guys, and one of the things about this business or this crafting life is knowing how to fix your mistakes, which we just did. All right, so we have everything that we need now to create 4 cards. We're going to need 4 pieces of basic white that measure 4. Actually, let's go 3 3/4 by 5. I might need to trim this one down a little bit. Normally I would do this at on a 4 by 5 1/4, but I'm gonna change this to 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm gonna probably end up having to trim these down just a little bit because I'm adjusting my size a little bit. Okay, maybe I'll do it just on that one. 3 3/4 by 5. All right. So what I'm going to do with this guy is well, okay, we're just going to go, we're going to make this where's my sentiment? And I'm just going to keep using the same sentiments, y'all. I'm not going to do a lot of changing here. Thank you with all of my heart. And we're going to line this up like so. Now, here you're going to have some options, you guys. I'm not going to do it, but you will have some options when you're designing your card, okay? You can add a piece of ribbon right here to finish that off. We might do that. This is 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to trim a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. We're going to mat this. So we're going to make 5 cards tonight, you guys, but you could double that, okay? Then I'm going to layer. Then add a little bit of bling once this dries and I figure out where I put my bling, because I know I had some on here and I just moved them. Okay, I'll find them and then we'll add them. So that's another card. Then we're going to move on to this one. Okay. So we're going to stay at 4 by 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so here's what you can do with this guy. Okay, you can put one in this corner and one in this corner and stamp your sentiment right in the middle. That's one way. Okay, you can have one in the corner and the other like so. That's one way. You can, well, no, you can't do that. You can create a little bit of a diamond. All right. Like so. So that's 3 different options that you can use right off the bat with this. Okay. I think for today, what are we going to do? I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to try it this way. Okay. Now what I'm going to use to line this up is I'm going to use my grid on my glass mat to find a point, a center point. This stitched line right here. So I'm going to make sure that my point lines up right there. Right, and that it's relatively straight. Okay. Then I'm going to put my other point. Remember, I used the stitched line. So I'm going to make sure that the stitched line is on the point on the other side. Oops. And so we have it lined up here. And we are on that stitched line. And so we have this. Okay. Now we can do the same thing. Mat this on 4 by 5 1/4. Mat it. Uh-oh. All right. Well, that's good though, because now it's time for a change. So that's 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go up by 1/8. So this is going to be 4 1/8. By 5 3/8. Now our DSP was 3 by 3, right? So I'm going to cut a piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. There's a reason for that, right? Two and 3/4 by 2 3/4. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this one. I've got 2 thank yous or 3 thank yous. So my next one is going to be a birthday. And okay, line my points up on the grid line. Stamp my sentiment. Then line it up right in the middle. Okay. I'm excited for the new catalog launch, you guys. And I am planning on the 7th of January. I thought I was going to have some other fellow demonstrators that's going to do a catalog launch with me. But if you join me, it'll be probably the majority of the day. I plan to go live every hour on the hour or upload a video. And what I will do with that is share with you a couple of the products from the new catalog. And I'm going to create live. I won't probably have a lot of items pre-done. There you go. And then I think, I'm sure this is 4 1/4. It should be, I think. Four and a quarter. Score it at 5 1/2. The stamp sets that I'm using, Kathy, framed florets is where the sentiments are coming from. I'll bring that in just a quick second. Oh no, I gotta change this out. No, needs to be dark. All right, I need to grab a piece of Perfect Plum, and then I can finish that card out. It needed the darker in the back. So we're just gonna add that. So Kathy, I'm getting the sentiments from the framed florets. All right, so here we go. Let's get this one. And of course, you guys know that because it's the darker colored cardstock for your base, that you should cut a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 I'm sorry, a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white to put on the inside of your card. And that should be for your inside greeting, or for them to make a note if you're going to give this as a set. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to finish off with some gems. I don't know if I'll put some ribbon. I won't do ribbon. I'm just going to do the gems. Okay. So that one's done. We still have 2 more to go to finish this project. So the next one we're going to deal with is our 1-inch strips. And you guys, you could do 1, 2, and 3. Just line them up that way. You could do that. You could put them on the bottom like so. And then the sentiment goes at the top. That's one way. You could put them at the top. Sentiment goes on the bottom. That's another way. You could layer them. Stepping stone. 1, 2, 3, like so. That's another option. You could change your layout or your orientation and have 1, 2, 3, and then have a sentiment on the bottom, or have your sentiment go across. Okay, those are just a couple of options that you can use with the 3 pieces. I kind of liked doing the stepping stone, so I'm gonna try that and see how I like it at the end of the day. I'm gonna trim down the other ones as well because I want my border to be a little bit smaller. Okay, so here I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna put him right here, like so. And I'm gonna trim these borders down just a tad. And these are just some decisions that you make as you create, based on, I mean, if I wanted to keep everything the way it was, I could have, but I'm just by design element, I'm like, no, I just want to take a little bit more of a border off. And sometimes some decisions, some changes you can make mid creation, which I'm just doing. This one goes this way. Right. So we're going to put this guy right here, and then we're going to put him right here. I think it's this way because we just deconstructed the image. Even though you're not crafting with me tonight, you guys, if you do try any of these projects and you come up with different orientations, different layouts, please share them with me. I would definitely love to see what you have created with this project. Okay, so we went with the stepping stone, and obviously the sentiments that we have aren't going to fit. So now would be, let's see what other one we can use. Okay. I think something fancy and the thank you will fit. Let's see. And again, this something fancy is from the mini catalog that's going live January 4th. I haven't changed my labels. I need to put this one on though, because I will definitely get it. And as we can see, thank you is going to go right here. But before I do that, I need to put that label on. Well, because I've created the card and I've layered everything already, I don't have, well, if I mess it up, I could stamp it separately and then just punch it out with a circle punch and put it that way. But that's just an extra step that if we don't have to take it, we don't have to take it. So let's just put our label on. Oops. Make sure everything is lining up. Okay. Label is on. So that when we put it on the acrylic block, or at least we'll know we're in the right, at least I'll know I'm in the right location or the right orientation. Otherwise, I'll be all over God's creation with that. So in this particular card, we can put thank you here, and we can put thank you here, whichever one you choose. So I'm going to put thank you in the bottom. Excuse me. That's where I'm going to put that. And now I'm going to mat on now. Here's another thing, another tip. I don't know who taught me this, right? I think it was from a creative aid. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut a couple of 1/4-inch strips. Okay. That's one. And that's two. Now, the reason I cut those is I'm going to mat, quote unquote, mat my card, but I don't want to do the whole thing. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bitty strip of glue right here. And then all I'm going to do is line it up like so. All right. That's one side. Do the same thing on the other side. I mean, if you ever want to mat and layer something, but you run out of a whole, like a whole sheet, but you have a little scrap, at least a 1/4 inch, and something that's a little bit, well, wide, longer, then go ahead and use that. Okay. Because now all I'm going to do, I'm going to line it up and I'm going to trim. And I'm going to trim like so. So I've just quote unquote matted. Now I only mat one side, but I've just matted this card. Okay. Now the other thing I just thought of is, sometimes you say, thank you, thank you. Why not put thank you up here as well? Thank you, thank you. And then one more inside. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you have 3 thank yous. I'm going to leave it at 1 for now because I'm not so sure about that one. And then I'm just going to use I'm going to use some foam adhesive sheet on this one. And again, I'm just going to add some bling to finish these cards off. Okay. There we go. And we got one more card. These 4 strips. You guys, all you need is an imagination to make these work. Okay. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. So again, you could 4 like so. That's one way. Put a gem in the middle. That's one way. You could turn it in this orientation. And 4. I don't really like that one. Okay. Again, using a stepping stone, we can kind of play with this. Have one that way, one this way, one that way, one that way. So we have a little bit of an offset, like so. Okay. That's another. Then we can always overlap. Like that. That's another way. Then if you turn it this way, you have another orientation. Okay. Stuff like that works when your designer paper doesn't have a pattern that runs. As you can see, this works better like this because you can actually see the flower this way. So this is kind of what makes the most sense because of the pattern paper that we chose to use, that I chose to use in this presentation. Okay, so that you can see the roses. I mean, otherwise, the other thing you can do is you kind of can just, they don't have to be perfect. I think mostly as card makers, we tend to think that things have to line up. I do, right? But you could have a little bit of fun and do this. And it just be a little haphazard picture. But for tonight, I'm actually going to keep it in consistent squares. That's what I'm going to do because of the pattern and the print that I chose. Okay. The thank you will fit. I'm looking for now I'm looking for a piece of ribbon. Hold on, you guys. Almost done, almost done. Okay. I'm gonna put a piece of gold metallic ribbon and let me see. I'm gonna pull out my little bow maker here because I have an idea in mind. And so let me measure here so you'll know how much ribbon I'm using tonight, just in case you want to recreate this that I'm doing. That's 14. 14. I have about 21 inches of ribbon here. Might be a little bit too much, but it's better to have too much sometimes than not enough, and then can't finish your project, right? All right, so what I want to do, and I definitely have too much. So 21 inches is way too much. Actually, I want to do a bigger loop. No, that loop is fine. But something did not tie right in my bow. So I'm going to redo it. Yeah. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bow, make sure that's in the center, and then wrap. So definitely 21 inches is way too much, y'all. But I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. So it was way better to have too much than not enough. Or I was going to wrap it, but I really honestly and truly could just have like that with the tails, right? Which do you like better? Do you like it with the tails just hanging? Or do you like it with the tails wrapped around? I can't decide which I like. I kind of like having the tails down, What do you think? Any thoughts? I think I'm just going to put the tails down. All right, so with that being said, I need to find my blue dots or stamp and seal. Make sure I have enough. And I'm just going to plop my bow right in the center, like that, like that. Then trim my tails. Scissors are dulling. Now don't throw these away, you guys. You can make bows out of those as well. You have faux bows that you can make out of those. So don't throw that stuff away. Kind of put it in a little bag, a little scrap bag, and save it. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We have our but now I'm wondering if I should use the DSP. No, I'm not. Then I'd be wasting my DSP, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do exactly what I did before. And I'm going to trim a 1/4 inch. I'm going to trim 4 of them. Let's just do 3 for now. I might need the other one. All right, so here we go. Again, put a little bit on the side, like so. Line it up. Okay. A little bit on the other side, line it up. And you don't want to make too big of a border, because remember, this is already, your card base is already 4 by 5 1/4. So you really only need 1/8 of an inch of a border, which isn't very big. Otherwise, it'll be bigger than your card base. Okay. Then once you've got that down, it's dry. Go ahead and trim those off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then if you try to do it on this side, which you can, do the same thing. Just like creating a picture frame. Okay. And when you trim to where the purples are, your purple mat already is. Okay. Okay, we are going to need another piece. And then do the same thing. The thing about that, though, is if you can, try to line it up with at least one end with what you've already created. There you have created your mat. There we go. Then you guys, all we're going to do is we're going to put this on a card base, and this card is done. You guys, we have made, what is it, 6 cards I think we made tonight. Isn't that amazing? We made 6 cards in an hour and 45 minutes. Now, you can do it in a lot less if you know ahead of time what you want to do. You pre-cut your pieces. You already have whatever layout you're going to put your cards in. You can do it in a lot less time that way, okay? So I'm gonna, matter of fact, on this one, I'm just gonna give it a boring old white card base. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are almost done with creating our cards. I'll bring them all in so you can see them. Don't forget, if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mostly go live on the fly. I do try to schedule and be on a schedule, but my life sometimes is not necessarily conducive to being on a schedule. I do promise that I try to go live every Thursday night to create with you. This semester in my school, I have classes, and have classes on Wednesday night, so you won't see me going live on a Wednesday for the next 6 months. I have classes on Saturday, in-person classes. So my in-person classes, I'm going to probably be doing them virtual in order to be able to keep doing them. So there's a couple of changes that I'm having to make because of my course load. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we made 5 cards. We could have done 6, but we only did 5. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that quick, simple? We have to add some embellishments to these. I kind of have some bling. Like, they went somewhere on my desktop. I'm not sure where they disappeared to, but they're here somewhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll post all of the cards that we created tonight on my blog, which today's date. Give me a day or 2 to get it posted. And the link, I will add the link to the blog in the description box. And I look forward, you guys, if I don't speak to you and talk to you before January 1st, thank you, Kathy. Have a pleasant, happy, safe New Year. If you do decide to go out, remember, even though it's not as active and not as, I guess, hostile, COVID is still out there, so be careful. Good night, Kathy. Have fun. And if you do make New Year's resolutions, share them with me. I make them, and I hold myself accountable to them. I may not always follow them, but I hold myself accountable to them. And one of my New Year's resolution for this year is really to come and do more lives with you guys, either on Facebook, and just to interact with my audience a little bit more. So with that said, you guys, again, please subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos, and I'll see you on the next video. Good night. Happy New Year.